All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is V. Ravi Kumar. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar this morning. India is a land of openness, optimism and opportunities and is brimming with new ideas, perspectives and innovation, says Prime Minister. Interacts with global CEOs of oil and gas sectors and calls to enhance storage facilities for crude oil. Home Minister Amit Shah arrives in Uttarakhand to review flood situation and relief work. Death toll reaches 52, 5 people are still missing. Heavy rain lashes hilly regions of Kerala. IMD issues orange alert for Idukki, Kottayam and Pathanamthitta districts today. President Ramnath Kovind to deliver inaugural address at centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building today. India inches towards 100 crore COVID vaccination mark. Over 99 crore 12 lakh vaccine doses administered so far. Police Commemoration Day being observed today. 4 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters by security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. India strongly opposes China's Belt and Road Initiative at UN Global Sustainable Transport Conference in Teaching. And in T20 World Cup, India defeat Australia by 8 wickets in their second practice match at Dubai. As India is on the verge of vaccinating 100 crore people against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the people, doctors, nurses and others who are making this possible. At the same time, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners who are yet to be fully vaccinated to get vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festive season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing. Focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Infosys Foundation Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar campus of AIIMS, New Delhi at 10:30 this morning through video conferencing. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia, Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar and Chairperson of Infosys Foundation, Sudha Murthy, will also be present on the occasion. More details from our correspondent.
The 806-bedded Vishram Sadan has been constructed by Infosys Foundation as a part of corporate social responsibility. The Vishram Sadan will provide air-conditioned accommodation facilities to the accompanying attendants of cancer patients who often have to stay in hospitals for longer duration. It has been constructed at a cost of about 93 crore rupees. The Vishram Sadan is located in close proximity to the hospital and OPD blocks of National Cancer Institute. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India is a land of openness, optimism and opportunities and is brimming with new ideas, perspectives and innovation. Mr. Modi also said the focus of oil sector has shifted from revenue to production maximization and also spoke about the need to enhance storage facilities for crude oil. The Prime Minister yesterday interacted with the CEOs and experts of the global oil and gas sector through video conferencing. Mr. Modi further talked about the rapidly growing natural gas demand in the country. He talked about the current and potential gas infrastructure development including pipelines, city gas distribution and LNG regasification terminals. Mr. Modi discussed in detail the reforms undertaken in the oil and gas sector in the last 7 years, including the ones in exploration and licensing policy, gas marketing, policies on coal bed methane, coal gasification and the recent reform in Indian gas exchange. He said such reforms will continue with the goal to make India Atmanirbhar in the oil and gas sector. Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who arrived in Dehradun last evening, will review the flood situation and relief work being undertaken in the hill state of Uttarakhand, which was ravaged by heavy rain. The death toll and rain-related incidents in Uttarakhand has risen to 52, while 5 people are still missing. More from our correspondent.
Union Home Minister will conduct aerial survey of disaster-affected areas of the state today. A meeting with senior officials of the state has also been scheduled at Jauligrant in Dehradun, where he will take stock of relief and rescue operation being carried out by forces deployed at various places of the state. It may be recalled that death toll in rain-related incident has gone up to 52, while 5 people are still missing. Kumaon division was the worst affected, where heavy rain claimed 49 lives. In Nainital district, highest 28 deaths have been reported. Relief and rescue operation is going on in full swing in the state. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, along with the Union Minister of State for Defence Ajay Bhatt and State Cabinet Minister Dhan Singh Rawat, visited the rain-hit Ramgarh in Nainital district yesterday and took stock of the damages caused by the heavy rains. Sanjeev Sundrial, AIR News, Dehradun.
Widespread isolated heavy rains are reported in several hilly areas of Kerala since last evening. The hilly regions of Kozhikode, Wayanad, Malappuram, Palakkad and Kottayam districts received heavy rains. Though landslides took place at some places, no loss of life was reported. The IMD has issued an orange alert indicating the possibility of very heavy rains in Idukki, Kottayam and Pathanamthitta districts today, where heavy rains caused heavy damages recently. A yellow alert is in place in 5 districts. Authorities have shifted people living in vulnerable areas to temporary camps. 304 relief camps have been set up at different places across the state, where 3,851 families have been accommodated. President Ram Nath Kovind, who is on a 3-day visit to Bihar, will deliver his inaugural address at the centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building today. Governor Phagu Chauhan, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and other dignitaries will be present on this occasion. All the legislators, including former MLAs and members of parliament, have been invited for the function. The President will also lay the foundation stone of the Centenary Memorial Tower and plant a sapling of Bodhi tree in the assembly premises before addressing the main function. The assembly building hosted the inaugural session of the joint Bihar and Odisha Provincial Council on February 7, 1921. Bihar Assembly Speaker Vijay Kumar Sinha said, through the centenary celebration, the new generation will come to know about the glorious past of the Assembly.
India is inching towards 100 crore COVID vaccination mark as over 99 crore 12 lakh vaccine doses were administered in the country so far. Under the world's largest vaccination drive, when India touches the billion vaccination mark, around 300 million people will be fully vaccinated. That is more than the entire population of Indonesia, Pakistan or Brazil, the most populous countries in the world after China, India and the United States. In fact, it is close to the entire population of the US as well. This means that at India's pace, these countries would have been fully vaccinated by now. At its peak, the country administered 25 million doses in a day, which is a world record. This is equivalent to the entire population of Australia. Over the past month, vaccination has averaged close to 70 lakh doses per day. Again, this rate suggests that a country with a population of 25 million would receive their first doses within 3 to 4 days and be fully vaccinated within a few months. According to latest reports from the Health Ministry, over 99 crore 12 lakh COVID vaccine doses were administered in the country till yesterday. A total of 14,623 new cases of COVID-19 were also reported in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 98.15%, which is the highest since March last year. Over 19,400 people recovered in the last 24 hours, taking total recoveries to over 3 crore 34 lakh 78,000. Active cases count for less than 1% of total cases. Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia will today launch a song and an audio-visual film to celebrate India's milestone of 100 crore COVID-19 vaccinations. The program will be held at the Red Fort in New Delhi this afternoon. A total of 25 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in the national capital yesterday. The Delhi government said in the last 24 hours, 37 people recovered and no death was reported in the city. Presently, the total number of active cases of COVID-19 in the national capital is 310. More than 74,000 beneficiaries were inoculated for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours in Delhi. With this, over 1 crore 97 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar this morning. India is a land of openness, optimism and opportunities and is brimming with new ideas, perspectives and innovation, says Prime Minister. Interacts with global CEOs of oil and gas sector and calls to enhance storage facilities for crude oil. Home Minister Amit Shah arrives in Uttarakhand to review the flood situation and relief work. Death toll reaches 52, 5 people are still missing. Heavy rain lashes hilly regions of Kerala. IMD issues orange alert for Idukki, Kottayam and Pathanamthitta districts today. President Ramnath Kovind to deliver inaugural address at centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building today. India inches towards the 100 crore COVID vaccination mark. Over 99 crore 12 lakh vaccine doses administered so far. Police Commemoration Day being observed today. 4 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters by security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. India strongly opposes China's Belt and Road Initiative at UN Global Sustainable Transport Conference at Beijing. And in T20 World Cup, India defeats Australia by 8 wickets in their second practice match at Dubai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में गुरुवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी की लड़ाई में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सिपाही की वीर गाथा।
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मात नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मात नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back. You're listening to the morning news. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a Lashkar-e-Taiba LET district commander and 4 terrorists were neutralized by security forces in 2 separate encounters in South Kashmir yesterday. Giving details, the police said that 2 terrorists were killed by security forces in a gunfight in Dragar area of Shopian district yesterday morning. One army soldier had also received grievous injuries and attained martyrdom in the said operation. In another encounter, District Commander of Lashkar-e-Taiba LET terror outfit among 2 terrorists were killed in a brief gunfight with security forces at Sopat area in Kulgam district in the evening hours yesterday. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police, Kashmir Range, Vijay Kumar said that one of the slain terrorists killed in Dragar encounter, identified as Adil Ahmed Wani, was active since July last year and was involved in the killing of a non-local carpenter at Liter village in Pulwama district, while the terrorists neutralized in the evening at Sopat Kulgam were involved in the killing of 2 non-local labourers at Wanpur in Kulgam district on the 17th of this month. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is visiting Jammu and Kashmir from tomorrow to take stock of the law and order situation in the Union Territory. He will be in the Union Territory for 3 days. Mr. Shah will arrive in Srinagar on 22nd October and will stay in the valley on 23rd October as well, and then he will visit Jammu on 24th of October. The Union Home Minister will take stock of the law and order situation besides reviewing important projects, including the Prime Minister's development package in Jammu and Kashmir. He will also hold a meeting of the Unified Command in Srinagar. Today is Police Commemoration Day. The day is observed on 21st of October every year to honour the loyalty and supreme sacrifice of the police personnel for the nation. It was on this day in 1959 when Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) scripted a saga of valour and sacrifice in the inaccessible and inhospitable terrain of Hot Springs in Ladakh. A patrol party of 20 personnel of CRPF and Intelligence Bureau had gone to search for a missing reconnaissance party when it was ambushed by the Chinese army. In spite of the sudden attack and disadvantageous tactical position, they fought valiantly against the Chinese army personnel, who were in large numbers and heavily armed. In this battle, 10 CRPF men were martyred in defense of the country.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
On 21st of October 1934, Congress Socialist Party was established by leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan and Acharya Narendra Dev. The success of the Russian Revolution had sowed the seeds of socialism in the minds of Indians during the 1920s and 1930s.
There was a lot of young population that was dissatisfied with the withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement and also with the nationalist political actions. The ideologies were given tremendous push by star campaigners like Bhagat Singh, Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose.
Thus, in 1934, Congress Socialist Party helped organize peasants and workers in class organizations, promoted anti-imperialism, fight against poverty and landlordism.
Their momentum came during the Quit India movement, when Congress Socialist Party members participated in large numbers and kept the movement alive in the absence of top leaders, who were all arrested by the imperial rulers.
On the 21st of October 1943, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose announced the establishment of the Provisional Government of Azad Hind in Singapore. It was known as Arzi Hukumat-e-Azad Hind. The provisional government not only enabled Bose to negotiate with the Japanese on an equal footing, but also facilitated the mobilization of Indians in East Asia to join and support the INA.
कोई नहीं कह सकता है कि लोग इस जंग में शरीक होंगे, उनसे कितने लोग निकलेंगे जिंदा हो। हम जिंदा रहेंगे या तो मरेंगे, कोई बात नहीं है। बात सही बात यह है, आम बात यह है, आखिर में हमारी कामयाबी होगी। हिंदुस्तान आजाद होगा।
Netaji proclaimed total mobilization. He said, "Time has come for 3 million Indians living in East Asia to mobilize all their available resources, including money and manpower. Half-hearted measures will not do. Out of this total mobilization, I expect at least 300,000 soldiers and 3 crores, that is $30 million.
With the formation of the Provisional Government of Azad Hind, mobilization of the Indian communities for armed struggle was stepped up. Many Indian civilians from Malaya, Thailand and Burma responded enthusiastically. Others contributed money and gold generously to the INA fund. The gold came mostly from women who readily gave up their jewelry, while wealthy Indian families donated large sums of money after attending Bose's rallies and meetings.
Other forms of contributions included clothing, foodstuffs, and other supplies that the INA could use. By April 1944, the Azad Hind Bank was established in Rangoon to manage the overwhelming donations from the Indian communities. He envisioned the Army of Liberation as the future national army of free India and exhorted people with the war cry, "Comrades, my soldiers, let your battle cry be Dilli Chalo, Dilli Chalo."
Under the Provisional Government, Bose was the head of the state, the Prime Minister and the Minister for War and Foreign Affairs. Captain Lakshmi headed the women's organization, while S.A. Iyer headed the publicity and propaganda wing.
Ras Bihari Bose was designated as the supreme advisor. Soon after the announcement, the provisional government had received recognition from various countries, till its dissolution when Japan lost to Allied powers. Azad Hind Fauj was an imminent threat for the British might.
Shri Krishna Sinha was born on the 21st of October 1887 in Navada district of Bihar. Sinha played a key role in the success of the non-cooperation movement and the civil disobedience movements in Bihar. He was imprisoned several times and spent 8 years in prison.
Along with his participation in the independence struggle, Sinha also contributed as an able administrator and legislator. He served as a member of the Bihar Legislative Council in 1927. He was appointed as the Premier of Bihar province in 1937. Sinha later resigned in protest over the question of the British involving India in the Second World War without the consent of the Indians.
Sinha served as a member of the Constituent Assembly from the province of Bihar. In the assembly, he took active part in discussions relating to the objective resolutions. Post-independence, Sinha was appointed as the first Chief Minister of Bihar.
He was known for being the first Chief Minister of the country to abolish the Zamindari system, implementing river valley projects in Kosi, Aghor and Sakri, and also introducing heavy industries like oil refining and fertilizer production in Bihar. He passed away on 31st of January 1961.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Government has said that India is exporting strictly non-genetically modified organism or GMO rice to the world. Ministry of Commerce and Industry in a statement clarified that there is no commercial variety of genetically modified or GM rice in India, and in fact, the commercial GM cultivation of rice is banned in the country. It said there is no question of export of GM rice from India. Since there is no commercial variety of GM in India, proper testing was also done before shipment of the consignment, and the possibility of GMO contamination due to white rice exported by India is not possible. The clarification came regarding a news report in a section of press regarding food recall linked to alleged GM rice from India. India has strongly opposed China's Belt and Road Initiative or BRI and its flagship project, the so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC, at the just concluded second UN Global Sustainable Transport Conference in Beijing. First Secretary at the Indian Embassy in Beijing, Priyanka Sohoni, hit out at China's BRI, where her mic surprisingly went silent precisely at the point when she was highlighting New Delhi's objection to the controversial projects. More from our Beijing correspondent.
The sudden mic failure at the UN conference, hitherto going on smoothly, created a flutter and took several minutes to restore, after which the Indian statement could be completed. While explaining India's commitment for the expansion and strengthening of physical connectivity, the Indian diplomat expressed India's concerns on BRI and said that India is uniquely affected by it. Its inclusion of the so-called CPEC as a flagship project impinges on India's sovereignty. She further said that no country can support an initiative that ignores its core concerns of sovereignty and territorial integrity. She highlighted India's firm belief that connectivity initiatives must follow principles of openness, transparency and financial responsibility. She said India, for its part, abides by these principles and stands ready to make collective efforts for sustainable development through a human-centric approach. Chinese Transport Minister Li Xiaopeng, who was present at the conference, responded to the Indian diplomat's criticism of BRI, which diplomats familiar with UN procedures said was a likely breach of UN protocols. Anshuman Mishra, AIR News, Beijing.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio on Sunday. It will be the 82nd episode of the monthly radio program. The Prime Minister has invited people to share their ideas for this month's episode. People can share their views in the Namo app or MyGov Open Forum.
In the Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, India defeated Australia by 8 wickets in the second practice match at ICCA Dubai. Australia set a target of 153 runs with the help of Steve Smith's 57 runs. The men in blue achieved the target for the loss of 2 wickets with 13 balls to spare, riding on Rohit Sharma's 60 runs. In another match, Sri Lanka thrashed Ireland by 70 runs in a Group A match at Zayed Cricket Stadium, Abu Dhabi, to qualify for the Super 12 stage of the T20 World Cup. Bangladesh will take on Papua New Guinea at 3:30 p.m, while Scotland will face host Oman at 7:30 p.m. in the group stage matches today.
Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and adjoining areas has levied an amount of over 3 crore rupees as environmental compensation charge against 963 sites and agencies connected with them for non-compliance with various waste management rules and dust mitigation measures. The Commission has ordered the stoppage of work at 52 locations. The Commission has been actively taking up with governments of Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh for strict compliance of dust mitigation measures at construction and demolition sites. These teams have so far carried out surprise checks and inspections at more than 6,596 construction and demolition sites, of which 963 sites were found to be non-compliant with various waste management rules and dust mitigation measures.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 6 and 22 degrees Celsius, while Jammu will have a mainly clear sky as well. Temperatures will hover between 17 and 32 degrees Celsius. Leh is also likely to witness a mainly clear sky. Temperatures will hover between -1 and 14 degrees Celsius, while Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky as well. Temperature will hover between 5 and 25 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have a sunny day. Minimum temperature was 14, while maximum will be around 30 degrees Celsius. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. Temperatures will hover between 19 and 32 degrees Celsius, while Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will vary between 23 and 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have a generally cloudy sky. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky as well with light rain. Visakhapatnam will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The city observed minimum temperature of 27, while maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. Bengaluru will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. Guwahati will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature was around 25, while maximum will be around 34 degrees Celsius. Shillong will witness a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 16 and 23 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Death toll in flood-ravaged Uttarakhand continues to rise, and Prime Minister inaugurating the Kushinagar International Airport are some of the stories that dominate the headlines across dailies today. Flood toll hits 52 amid rescue ops in Uttarakhand, writes Hindustan Times. The pioneer headlines, Char Dham Yatra resumes as rain fury subsides after killing over 50. The Times of India reports, Himalayan tragedy, Uttarakhand toll tops 50, 5 killed in North Bengal. The Indian Express carries a picture of PM Modi at the Mahaparinirvana temple inaugurating the Kushinagar International Airport, which would now complete the Buddhist circuit across countries. Army well poised to hold the line against China in Arunachal, headlines the Times of India. And finally, government to vaccinate entire adult population by 2021 end, informs the Statesman.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Vishram Sadan at the National Cancer Institute in Jhajjar this morning. India is a land of openness, optimism and opportunities and is brimming with new ideas, perspectives and innovation, says Prime Minister. Interacts with global CEOs of oil and gas sectors and calls to enhance storage facilities for crude oil. Home Minister Amit Shah arrives in Uttarakhand to review flood situation and relief work. Death toll reaches 52, 5 people still missing. Heavy rain lashes hilly regions of Kerala. IMD issues orange alert for Idukki, Kottayam and Pathanamthitta districts today. President Ramnath Kovind to deliver inaugural address at centenary celebration of Bihar Legislative Assembly building today. India inches towards 100 crore COVID vaccination mark. Over 99 crore 12 lakh vaccine doses administered so far. Police Commemoration Day being observed today. 4 terrorists killed in 2 separate encounters by security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. India strongly opposes China's Belt and Road Initiative at United Nations Global Sustainable Transport Conference in Beijing. And in T20 World Cup, India defeat Australia by 8 wickets in their second practice match at Dubai. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.